If you ever find yourself driving near Valley Center, Kansas after midnight, and you hear a woman weeping from the darkness, and you have your child in the back seat, do not look in the rearview mirror. Because once she sees what you have, she won't just want a ride. She'll want a trade. It was a Tuesday. Just a stupid, boring Tuesday. I'm Kay, 30 years old, and like most single moms, I was running on caffeine and guilt. My son, Leo, is 4. We had been at my sister's house in Wichita for a birthday party that ran way too late. It was nearly 11:30 p.m. when I finally buckled Leo into his car seat. He was out like a light before I even started the engine, clutching that raggedy stuffed rabbit he refuses to sleep without. The drive back to our place usually takes about 40 minutes, mostly highway. But of course, tonight of all nights, the GPS decided to be smart. Traffic reported on I-135. Rerouting, the robotic voice said. I didn't think twice. I followed the blue line on the screen. It took me off the main roads, past the suburban lights, and deep into the darkness of the Kansas countryside. If you know Kansas at night, you know it's a special kind of black. No streetlights. Just miles of wheat fields and heavy silence. The only thing you see is what your headlights decide to show you. I found myself driving down 109th Street North. The gravel crunched loudly under my tires, a rhythmic, hypnotic sound that was starting to make my eyelids heavy. The air was cooling down, causing patches of ground fog to rise from the ditches. Then the GPS chimed again. Continue straight for 2 miles. I glanced at the map. We were approaching Jester Creek. My stomach tightened. I knew this area. Everyone who grew up around here knows it. We were heading straight for Theorosa's bridge. I tried to shake it off. I told myself I was a 30-year-old woman, not a teenager looking for a scare. The old bridge, the one from the stories, burned down years ago. The city replaced it with a modern concrete one. It's just a bridge, just concrete and steel. But as the car rolled closer to the creek, the atmosphere shifted. It wasn't just the fog, which had gotten thicker, swirling like milk in water. It was the sound. My radio, which had been playing a low-volume pop station, suddenly cut to static. Not the harsh, loud static, but a low, rhythmic pulsing. Thump, hiss, thump, hiss, like a heartbeat or footsteps. I turned the radio off. Silence should have been better, but it was worse. In the backseat, Leo stirred. I glanced in the rearview mirror. He was frowning in his sleep, his little brow furrowed. "Mommy?" he mumbled. His voice was thick with sleep. "It's okay, baby. Go back to sleep. We're almost home." I whispered, keeping my eyes on the gravel road. "Mommy, why is the lady sad?" My hands froze on the steering wheel. I looked in the mirror again. Leo's eyes were still closed. He was talking in his sleep. Just a dream. Kids have weird dreams. "There's no lady, Leo. Just us." "She's cold," Leo murmured, turning his head to face the window. "She lost her baby in the water." A chill ran down my spine that had nothing to do with the AC. The legend. He was reciting the legend. But I had never told him. He's 4. We don't tell ghost stories to 4-year-olds. I knew the story. God, everyone knew it. Back in the late 1800s, a wagon train of settlers was ambushed right here. A woman named Theorosa grabbed her baby and ran toward the creek to hide. Depending on who you ask, the story changes. Some say in her panic, to stop the baby from crying and revealing her hiding spot, she threw the child into the river. Others say the attackers tore the baby from her arms and drowned it. Either way, Theorosa died there, screaming for her child. They say she never left. She's still looking, and she hates anyone who has what she lost. I saw the bridge ahead. The concrete rails were pale gray in my headlights. I pressed the gas pedal a little harder, wanting to zoom over it and put Jester Creek behind us. But as soon as my front tires hit the concrete, the car lurched. The engine didn't sputter, it just died. The power steering locked. The dashboard went black. No, no, no. I hissed, turning the key. Nothing. We were dead center on the bridge. Below us, the creek was swollen from recent rains. The sound of the rushing water was surprisingly loud in the sudden silence of the car. Then I heard it. It wasn't the wind. It was a sound that scrapes against the bottom of your soul. A low, jagged sobbing. It was coming from under the bridge. It sounded like a woman whose heart had been ripped out. Then the sobbing stopped abruptly. My breath hitched. I looked out the driver's side window. The fog was so thick I couldn't see the end of the bridge. "Mommy," Leo said again. This time he was wide awake. His voice wasn't sleepy anymore, it was terrified. "She's here." I slammed the locks down instantly. A hand gripped the concrete railing, then another. Pale, bloated, like skin soaked in water for weeks. She pulled herself up, wet, matted hair covering a face that wasn't there. Leo screamed. The sound triggered her. She didn't walk, she snapped toward us. Snap step, snap step. She slammed her body against my window. The smell of rotting river water choked the air. She leaned in, separated only by the glass. "My baby?" Her voice gurgled like a drowning throat. "He's mine." I screamed, mashing the horn. She didn't flinch, she just reached for the back door handle. The car shook violently as she pulled. The lock held, but the metal groaned. She turned her head, looking straight at Leo through the rear glass. "Start, damn it." I twisted the key, tears blinding me. The engine sputtered. She was at Leo's window now. I saw her raise a heavy wet fist to smash the glass. Vroom! I floored it. The tires screeched on the wet concrete. The car fishtailed, thudding against something heavy with a sickening crunch, and we shot off the bridge into the darkness. I didn't stop until I was in my driveway, under the bright floodlights of my garage. My heart was hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I jumped out and ripped the back door open. Leo was sobbing, clutching his rabbit, but he was safe. He was there. "It's okay, Leo. We're home. We're safe." I pulled him into my arms, burying my face in his neck, smelling his shampoo, needing to confirm he was real. I carried him inside, locked every deadbolt, and turned on every light in the house. I sat by his bed until the sun came up. The next morning, with the courage of daylight, I went out to the garage to check the car. There was a dent on the rear passenger door. A massive dent, like someone had kicked it with incredible force. But that wasn't what made me sick. All over the back window, on the glass where Leo had been sitting, were handprints. Dozens of them. Small, muddy, frantic handprints. But they weren't on the outside. They were on the inside of the glass, and mixed in with the mud were strands of long, wet river weeds. My son, he's changed. Sometimes I catch him staring at the bathtub when it's full, whispering to someone I can't see. He told me yesterday, the wet lady says she's coming to visit. I scrubbed the car for hours, but the smell of rotting river water never left. Last night, I woke up to a sound. Drip, drip, drip. It wasn't the faucet. It was coming from under my son's bed. She didn't stay at the bridge. She followed us home. And now that you've heard her story, she knows where you are too. Like and subscribe before you feel a drop of water on your shoulder.